Yeah, I just took and cut down this tree. Yeah, and after I get that stump out, I'm going to fill it whole in full of concrete. Yeah, this just gives me less yard work to do each year. Yeah, this time of the year is the perfect time for me to cut down trees because I can get it all in the garbage easy after all the leaves fall. Yeah, and I'll pour concrete in here, and eventually I'm going to have concrete poured right here all the way down. It'll give me even more room here. Yeah, I got the stump out and I got the rebar in there. Yeah, that stump was real hard for me to get that out of there. Yeah, now I'm ready to do the concrete. Yeah, and here's what the concrete looks like after 2 days. Yeah, I'm trimming all the trees and plants in my yard. This pile was actually bigger. I've already gotten rid of some of it. Yeah, the front yard's done and part of the backyard. Yeah, I should have filmed the before and after. Yeah, I still got this tree to do. Yeah, and that stuff in the front yard, it was like 12 to 15 feet high. Yeah, what I think I'm going to do is remove this, pour concrete in there, and cut this tree down and pour concrete in there too. Yeah, then I'll just have a little bit of trees to trim over here, and that's it. Yeah, I got this area completely finished. And how I cut that tree to keep the branches from going over the fence is I tied a rope onto it, and I tied it down to this thing with the trucker's knot pulled tight. And I'd cut through each piece about 2/3 of the way. Then I'd come down on the ladder and I'd push down with my weight on the rope, and a piece would break off and come this way. Yeah, it's starting to rain right now, is why I'm standing under this carport. And I just took and put a bunch of rocks down here. Yeah, the pile's starting to get smaller here. Yeah, and I got all the trees and plants cut on this side now. And I took and made a couple of brackets to hold this plant. Yeah, once I get rid of all this stuff, I'm going to tear this tree down, fill that hole in with cement, and this one. Yeah, I'm just replacing these floodlights. First one went bad after about 7 or 8 months, and I replaced it. A week later, the other one went bad, so now I'm putting regular floodlights out here. Yeah, I didn't want to go with these kinds. They cost about $100 a piece with those bulbs. Yeah, so now what I'm going to do is tear this down and then pour concrete in there. I think a big sledgehammer will take this down. Yeah, this pile's gotten much smaller. Yeah, and also a bunch of these rooms had cracks in the walls, and I retaped and mudded and textured and fixed the walls. Yeah, and around the windows it was bad. Yeah, here's one spot I guess I didn't get exactly right. You can kind of see it. I'm going to go back over that. Yeah, and there used to be a big crack over this doorway. I fixed that. And there was some cracks in these walls too I fixed. Yeah, I ran the cable to this TV in this room. Yeah, and this room also had some cracks in the walls, and I had this blue paint left over, so I used it and repainted the whole thing. It used to be pink. Yeah, and also in the kitchen, this wall here in the corner had a big crack in it. I retaped and mudded and textured that too. Yeah, in this room where I have my 3D printer, I also fixed some cracks in the walls and repainted it. Yeah, it was like the previous owner when it had cracks in the corner of the wall, he just painted over it real heavy. Then what you can see is these little like pin holes in it after a while. Yeah, those bricks came down real easy with a sledgehammer. Now I just got to dig this out. Yeah, that stump came out of there real easy. I just cut the roots off and I stick a pry bar in there and break it and get it out of there. Yeah, so now I'm ready to do the rebar. And how I do that is drill a hole in the concrete and the rebar goes into the existing concrete a little bit. Yeah, I got the rebar done. Probably tomorrow I'll do the concrete. Yeah, I just poured the concrete. It took six 80-pound bags of concrete to do this. Yeah, I'll show what it looks like tomorrow. Yeah, and this is what the concrete looks like after 3 days. Yeah, I never even noticed this before. Where I had these two trees cut down, the fence isn't painted. So I'm going to paint that. Yeah, it looks much better now. Yeah, I never even realized that I had those trees cut down years ago. Yeah, now I'm going to cut this tree down. And I already cut most of the branches off, so it should be real easy to do this. Yeah, and here's the easy way to get this tree to fall the right direction. I just tied a rope on it and pulled it tight. And I cut about 2/3 of the way through it, and then pull on the rope and it breaks. Yeah, maybe tomorrow I'll dig this out. That stump's not going to be easy to get out of there. Yeah, and here's how I get these stumps out. I just dig out around it and cut all the roots off. Yeah, then I get a pry bar in there and move it. But on one this big, I'll probably have to cut it into pieces and break each piece out of there. Yeah, it's just not worth renting a stump grinder for that one stump. Yeah, I got that stump out of there. Yeah, I had to cut it into about 5 pieces. So next I'm going to do the rebar. Yeah, I just got the rebar in here. And it's drilled into the existing concrete. Yeah, so now I'm ready to pour the concrete. And this is a 3-foot square hole and it takes about 6 bags. Yeah, and since it's supposed to rain, I'm going to put some bricks down on the ground and put this piece of plywood over the top of it when I'm done and a tarp over that. Yeah, and here's what it looks like when it's done. Now I'm going to cover it up. Yeah, it's all covered up. And this is kind of uphill, so when it rains, it won't get wet. And when you do this, you also want to buy like a couple extra bags of concrete. You don't want to run out when you're in the middle. Yeah, and here's what it looks like after 2 days. Yeah, and I also took and fixed this downspout pipe. Yeah, to get the water to go away from the foundation. Yeah, I just took and ripped all those vines off the fence. Yeah, and this is how much, there's not much left to get rid of, and that's it. Yeah, and here's what this concrete looks like after about 2.5 weeks. And I think that's been about 3.5 weeks. Yeah, this is all that's left. One more week and it'll be gone. Yeah, and that concrete's almost fully cured now. Yeah, I'm just going to talk about what's coming up next. Yeah, pretty soon I'm going to a foreign country. I wanted to go at the end of last year. It just took longer than expected to save up the money. So you're going to see the first video in about 3 or 4 weeks from there. Yeah, it's a country I never ever thought I would go to. It's about a 19-hour plane flight there, but you have to wait until then to find out where it is. And what most people on YouTube don't know is I'm a very well experienced traveler. Before I bought a house 7.5 years ago, I used to travel all the time, and I want to do that again, but I'm going to do it, this time I'm going to do it different. What I want to do is go to countries where for like $2,000 I can stay there for a month. In the past I went to places that were real expensive. You know, the amount of money I spent a total of 4 months in Australia and New Zealand. The amount of money I spent there, I could have could have taken about 5 years off. So I think after this trip I'll go to maybe Colombia, since I can speak some Spanish. Then maybe I'll do some of the former Soviet countries.